We're here at the Grampian Transport Museum here in Afford in Aberdeenshire, the brand new home of the Top Gear car collection, but there's a great deal more besides that to be seen. So without any further ado, let's take a look around and see what we can find. Oh, didn't see you there. Take a look at this, MACK Snowplow. It was originally an American tank recovery tractor, but it was bought in the 60s by Aberdeen County Council to help clear some of the snow-covered roads, because we're not far from ski country up here. And this is a 6-wheel drive vehicle. It originally had a petrol engine that put out 2 to 4 miles per gallon, so incredibly efficient depending on whether you're in the city or on the highway. But it now has a 5-cylinder, so it's basically an Audi Quattro. What a thing, and it towers over even me. Welcome to the minimal motoring section here at the Grampian Transport Museum. Let's start over here with this microcar Virgo Prestige SE, no less. This is built under the quadricycle regulations, wherein people without driver's license can still get on the road and get about in something, albeit a little bit smaller. This thing will top out at 70 miles an hour, and yet it will do 65 miles per gallon while seating 4 people, believe it or not. But it's definitely not 4 me-sized people, let's say. I don't even know if I'd get in the front. Moving a little bit around here, we've got a nice little motorcycle. It's a Royal Enfield Bullet 65, lovely in silver with matching sidecar, but you're probably a little bit more interested in this. This is a Reliant Supervan 3. You may or may not recognize the bright yellow Trotters Independent Trading Company livery from beloved comedy Only Fools and Horses, of course. This, of course, has the standard 600cc Jap engine, but if you want to go for something a little bit earlier in the Reliant history, how about this? This is a Reliant Regent van, based mostly on the Austin 7. However, when the original creator left rally motorcycles, he decided to make something of his own in his back garden, having firm belief in the 3-wheeled future. And as you can see, it's got a bike wheel as the leading member. And not only that, but it is controlled by a steering wheel. So there must be some incredibly complicated linkages going on in there. The idea was that a lot of the rally motorcycle parts that he was borrowing to put on his new design still had the R stamped in them for rally. But that's where he got the idea to adopt the name Reliant, and so the rest is history. Finally, taking a look up here, we've got a Trojan microcar, a very small little job, and this one is in immaculate condition. They very bravely placed it on top of everything else, so not only do we know it's not got any oil leaks, but we can also take a nice, good look underneath and see it is absolutely spotless. You don't really see many of them outside specialist meets or shows, but this is a very nice one indeed. 2 very different approaches to the Great British GT. Beneath, we've got a Lotus Eclat 2-litre inline 4, simplificate and add lightness, whereas above we've got the complete opposite. It's a Series 3 Jaguar E-Type, this one being the V12. Not necessarily the most desirable or best looking E-Type, but still an absolute British brute through and through. And over here, surprise, surprise, it's Cilla Black's very own Mini 1000 wooden picket, here seen in black on black, and I always forget how small these things are. Up there, we've got a lovely TVR 1600M, back when TVRs were still curvaceous and beautiful before they went to the wedge styling in the 80s, and below it, we've got a 2001 Jaguar Formula 1 car, an actual, real seasoned car driven by Eddie Irvine in the 2001 season. Coming over just a little bit more though, we've got something a little more exciting. This is a Rover SD1 Vitesse, no less. So that means big old injected V8 up front, and here seen in the gorgeous jam sandwich livery. I really do miss that over the Battenberg we have these days. But it's a really lovely thing. It was first ordered by the Grampian police to control speed on a new bypass that had been opened, and what a way to do it with V8 muscle and gorgeous British Rover design. Coming over just a little bit more, up top, we've got an MGA 1600 TwinCam. So it's the one to have, this one being a drop head. It's absolutely beautiful. I drove one of these with Joe and compared it to a Lotus Elan S4. Which would you rather have? Let us know in the comments below. But below it, we have a stripped chassis with a lovely little button here, and you press and hold it, the engine will turn over. We've got a cutaway on the side so you can see the strokes happening, and a cutaway for the valve train so you can see how that all works, and it all runs straight through the drive shaft to the diff. Great little educational tool, don't you think? And a lovely thing to look at too. Now we've come to the red, white and blue corner because this is all American goodness. Here we've got a Chevy Nova SS, so top trim, originally called the Chevy 2. It's what the Americans called a small automobile, but I don't get that. But still, this is a really lovely example too. It's green over green over green, by which I mean green painted steel wheels, lovely green metallic paint and a green leather interior. Absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I'd have one personally. Moving over this way, we've got what they call an AK series, but I think it's about as far from Kalashnikov as you could possibly get. This is a Chevy AK series pickup, and this one has been swapped with an LS7. That means 7-litre V8, which is, it's on the smaller side as American engines go. It's a 427 in Freedom units, but this is a 1946 car. But it is absolutely lovely. We've got black painted fenders, because it's American, so I'm going to say fenders, not wheel arches. These lovely red pinstripes alongside. I'm surprised there's not even more venting on this. We've got plenty of intake, but not much space for the air to actually escape. But it is a lovely thing indeed. Small on the inside, big in the back, and an absolute party under the bonnet. Here we have the Guy Martin collection and some of Guy's prized possessions. You may recognize this bike on the wall with the ridiculous gear set it's got on it, and that's because he managed to do 112.9, call it 113 miles an hour, just after being towed behind a racing truck with a massive windshield on it. He was discouraged from doing any further attempts, but he personally described it as a pretty horrific experience, and so I don't think he wanted to have another go anyway. 113 is more than enough in any case. Here we've got his Gravity Racer, here made by Sheffield Hallam University in full carbon fibre, managed a ridiculous 90 miles an hour going straight downhill. But in order to make that the record, he would have to come to a controlled stop, and he didn't quite manage to do that. As I'm sure you may be able to tell, it was involved in a rather horrific crash, but he walked away unscathed with a little bit of damage to his helmet. The end record he did end up walking away from was 84 miles per hour, which is still quick enough for most. Here we've got a nice Royal Enfield 500cc. He bought it in Delhi in India, had it blessed, and then proceeded to drive it 1,000 miles down to Goa to participate in a race. And it's been left entirely in race trim, complete with racing number written on a nice little white paper plate. Over here though, something with 4 wheels finally. It's a lovely little Saab. This was one of the first cars he bought after he had just passed his test. And the first thing he did was change the interior to have some nice faux fur leopard print and have these hot rod flames painted on the side. Besides that, it is pretty much completely bone stock, but I do rather like it. Over this way though, we've got a very special little trike, this one driven by Billy Conolly. It was built out in Banbury, not too far from where we are today, and it's Beetle based. It's got the lovely little Beetle flat 4 in the back, and seating for 2, even if the driver's head is going to be directly in the passenger's crotch, but that's okay, biker guys are into that, I guess. But it was built for Billy Connolly's world tour of England, Ireland, and Wales. So that's a fair joke if you ask me, but it's a very interesting looking thing. It's got a CD changer hidden somewhere on here, and it's got speakers in the front saddlebag, so quite unique, quite special, and I'll admit it's rather cool. Here we've got a collection of early Edwardian motor cars with one odd one out. See if you can figure out which. For starters, we've got this Albion A6 limousine, built at the then new factory in Scotstoun. It's powered by a 2-cylinder engine with a mere 16 horsepower. Moving over a little more, we've got this Rolls Royce 15 horsepower, nicknamed Old Girl. It was owned by the Dick factory of Kilmarnock. They had it for over 60 years, and I can definitely attest to the fact that she is indeed an old girl. Moving over just a little bit more, we've got an Argyle 1416, this one being from 1906, and this one's named the Buckrose Lady, and it's lovely and original. It's original red paint with pinstripes all around the scuttle and bonnet. Absolutely gorgeous with these brass finishings as well. And finally, we have this Arrol Johnston dog cart, and it very much is in the shape of a horseless carriage. You can just as easily imagine there being some reins and horses up front, but no, there is a steering wheel in the back, so your passengers go up front. But still, it looks very comfortable with these plush leather seats, wood paneling down the side, and brass fittings to match. Could you figure out which was the odd one out? 3 of these are from the 3As, Scottish manufacturers. However, that little green number you may remember is a Rolls Royce, and it's the only English car in this lineup. And finally, if we just move over forwards a little bit more, we've got a very important car for this museum indeed. This is the Jaguar Express. It's steam powered, and it was owned and built by an old postie over the course of about 2 to 3 years. He put this together himself, and it's known that he did use it at least once to do his post run, though it wasn't really deemed any more practical than his little pony that he would usually do his run on. He was a very early professional photographer in the area, and it's a very lovely thing indeed. It's survived all this time in full working order, albeit with a little bit of a restoration by one Maurice Armstrong Smith. But it's part of the logo of this museum, so you can imagine the significance of such a car, and what a thing it is. Well, that about does it for our little whistle-stop tour here at the Grampian Transport Museum. Do come up and make the trip for yourself. We couldn't cover everything in there, and there's plenty more to be seen. It's a little bit out of the way for us southern folks, but I'm definitely glad I made the journey up here. There's plenty to be seen, and it's open from around April to October every year, so don't show up in the dead of winter, because those gates will be closed. Check online on their website for specific dates and times of opening, and it's definitely worth the trip. So, in any case, thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, what was your favourite thing? Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon indeed. Ta-ra. Did I not mention his full name? some guy, some bloke, some fella, dude Martin.